So here are some things. And welcome to the Some Things Podcast, episode 9. Listeners, we have quite an episode for you today. We're going to be talking about Sexy Mr. Rogers, movie reviews, and Antonio the Clown Brown. All right. How you guys doing today, Luke?
By the way, we're here too. Hey, John.
Hey, Luke. Hey, Dylan.
Whatever.
It's okay. You're pretty good at introducing us, man.
Yeah. My mind wandered elsewhere. I'm kind of having a bleh day today.
He's a real Bob Barker.
A real Bob Barker? What does that mean?
He means Betsy Ross. I don't know.
Yeah, Betsy Ross.
He's a good, entertainer.
Oh, there you go.
He's a good host.
Yeah, The Price is Right. Oh, there we,
host.
dude, that was the show you watched when you were homesick as a kid, because there's really nothing else on.
It's
But I mean,
true.
that was the business. I was gonna say something the shiznit. I don't know if
and
that's still.
it was so colorful. It's like the entire show represented freedom from school. Like if you were watching it, you were free.
Oh yeah, Price is Right was always delicious. All right, well, so that being said, again, I do apologize for not getting you guys introduced. That is my bad. But so Luke, kicking off, how was your week this week?
My week was a pretty standard week. I'll say that this weekend has been exhausting. You ever have those weekends where it's just like you're busy every hour of the day?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's been this weekend so far.
Ugh.
So it's nice to be here with you guys.
Wait, week or weekend?
Weekend.
Oh, just the week.
Well, I mean,
okay.
the week too.
Right.
Every week that I'm in school, that's what my days are like. And then the weekend, I hope I get a little bit of rest. This weekend, not so much.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to be here with you guys, sharing some podcast time together.
Aw, he cares about us.
Yeah.
And we care about you.
A little bit.
Some of you listeners, not so much. No. All right, and then rotating it over to John. How about you?
Dude, this week's been crazy.
Oh,
So, as you guys, the listeners and you guys know from last week, I got engaged.
You still clapping for that?
Man, she's already like going crazy with planning. Like it's not like crazy like whoa.
Not like crazy expensive,
I'm
just
rethinking
crazy.
this
Yeah.
decision crazy.
Right,
It's not
right.
like that, but it's like she bought this binder and filled it with all these tabs for things for wedding planning.
Oh my
and it's
gosh.
like I get it, it has to be done, but it's like whoa, let's take a breather. Let's go like to the lake and chill or something. Like whoa,
You're not much of a planner, huh?
I am, but like whoa.
She sounds like her plans are putting you to shame.
It's like he got
Yeah.
engaged to her, and then he's just like, "Whoa, Savannah, look, you gotta pump the brakes. We're going way too fast in this relationship right
Oh
now."
my goodness. Yeah, that's what you want to hear.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, she's out there right now talking to your wife about how you guys planned it, and I'm gonna talk
Yeah,
to you about that later.
Yeah, we definitely had a lot of help. Shout out to Jenny Taylor, Brandy. I'm so bad with their names. It's Simons or Simmons? It's Simons, right?
Simons.
I know. I'm terrible.
Wow.
I don't know
Actor?
why. For some reason, I always forget there's only like the one M or whatever. But
Yeah.
I mess up so bad.
It's
and then
Simeons.
who is I forget who the coordinators were at church. But yeah, there were a couple people there too that I just can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, we had a lot of help because it was much needed, and I was just. I can go into it later. We'll talk off topic. I don't want some listeners to maybe hear.
We'll talk off air.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, but
Yeah, you're gonna get out there. She's gonna have like a note page of stuff that.
She'll have a second binder.
yeah.
Yeah, she'll be just using the printer up, just like, how we get our topics ready. She's just like, all right, we need this, and this. Page 1.
Yeah, page one. I was gonna say that's too quick. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. For me, yeah, Luke, I'm kind of with you. This week had just been long and stressful because
Yeah.
we've been. I know I've been talking to you guys about working overtime at work, and it got even more hectic because we were on mandatory OT from the second I came back from the weekend previous. Went straight into overtime. Had to come in early to work. Then we even had like mandatory 10-hour days. However, because we were actually able to work hard enough and get enough of the freight and the merchandise out to the stores, we actually got ourselves a 3-day weekend.
Whoa.
So,
So you
yeah.
don't work on Monday?
No. I didn't have work Friday. So we got off early enough. We pulled we pulled in some overtime hours. We were able to get through enough of the freight, and we just they're like, we had a meeting and everyone's expecting, oh crap, they're gonna tell us, oh, we have to work Saturday or we still have to come in Friday or something. But nope, it was to the point where we actually put out so much freight that when we had the meeting at 12 o'clock, they were like, if you want to leave now, you can go. You can just take off.
You're
And so-
telling me you didn't work Friday, and you're comparing my weekend to yours?
Look, it was still busy, man, because I'd been working overtime the week prior too, so and it just been
It
nothing
sounds
but
like the week prior was pretty similar to my
it
week.
carried through. All right,
Fine.
He just
Look,
wants
man.
sympathy too, man.
I'll
Gosh,
give
I know.
you sympathy.
It's like one of those things that one other suggestion from your dad that he's been giving us, and I'm definitely interested. I don't know if we'll start this episode, but doing like a pet peeves section.
Pet
One,
peeves, yeah.
One of my pet peeves, like what Luke's doing to me right now, is when you go to tell someone, man, I've had a hard week. Oh, you think you've had a hard week, and they just compare. It's like that doesn't change.
What are you talking about? I started with that.
That doesn't change
I was
my
like, I had a
situation.
hard week, and you're like, well, guess what? Mine was exactly like yours.
I
I've
was
had a
just
3-day
relating to
weekend.
you. I was trying to be nice.
Boys. Shh. It's like on Family Guy when he
hate
does.
him.
You know what really grinds my gears?
Yes, pretty much. That's what it'll become.
You
I
have
don't know.
such
It
a
won't-
calming voice.
Oh, thank you.
It's because it comes through the beard and it just translates through his
Beard
throat.
voice.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was.
Invalidated.
So what's
Okay.
our first topic for today?
Well, okay. So now that we kind of got our usual weekly stuff out of the way, I'll touch on one other thing. For this last week in Pokemon, for those of you playing and everything, they had Mewtwo back in raids, and he could actually be found shiny. I got 6 of them between my 2 accounts.
Mewtwo has AIDS?
What?
that
No,
what he said?
Speaking of raids,
no. Oh my
were you
gosh.
done
Speaking
yet?
of AIDS.
Oh, well, okay. So I know where Luke's gonna go with this
Yeah.
one, but anyway, I'll recap this real quick. Okay, so there was Mewtwo was out in raids. He can be shiny, and again, I found 6 of them, which is pretty rare because there are people who've been playing all week and haven't found anything. But anyway, Luke, you want to talk about something?
Yeah, so-
Raids.
So speaking of raids, the Area 51 raid happened 2 days ago.
It did.
And it actually kind of happened. I mean, it wasn't a
Yeah.
raid. A bunch of people showed up at the
Nobody got
front gate.
shot.
Nobody got shot. It was like a big costume party. Somebody described it like, it's like Halloween, except we're only here to annoy these people.
Oh my gosh.
You know, it's crazy. They took it seriously, though, like the military and all that. My
Right,
cousin,
yeah.
he's a paramedic out in Vegas.
Oh really?
And they called his whole unit in to show up there with their ambulances, a bunch of cots for people got shot. And so he spent a week out there in his truck preparing for it.
Wow.
Yeah, so they took it pretty seriously.
Yeah, I can imagine. Again, it's when people are talking and you have to see all the Facebook replies, everything else, people saying that they're going to go to this thing, and with the intention of raiding a military base. Yeah, I mean they're not going to take any. Oh, it's just a bunch of people on Facebook. They have to take their job seriously. There is no other option.
Cross
Yeah.
that fence, you're getting shot.
What is that?
I don't know.
Is it Velcro somewhere?
Oh,
was
that's me. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh, we're sitting here this whole time like, who's got a candy wrapper or something? I'm like,
For those of you who can't see, which is all of you, John has been playing with a little strip of Velcro for the last 5 minutes.
It's the Velcro strap that holds my headphone cord together when it's in its case.
it's really on his shorts.
Does that
but
make a difference?
No, I'm
It's
just
just
trying
a fun
I'm
fact.
just trying to give him context.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
all.
Yeah, it was killing me.
I know-
I knew it was bugging Dylan too. I
Because
was
yeah, like occasionally I'd hear it, and I'm just like, is there a wiring bad or like what the frick is that?
I'm
But
sorry.
anyway, that's
Fired.
okay. We forgive you. No, he's not fired.
Okay,
Show love. We
okay.
just talked about that today at the service.
I know.
Oh my
Show
goodness.
love, forgiveness, all that stuff that church people like.
Jeez. All right. Well, so were you done talking about the raid or?
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Okay,
I didn't
yeah.
want to like go off
No,
on a
'cause,
tangent.
yeah,
but it happened and it was relatively successful.
You know, if I'll be honest, if they turn this into kind of like a I don't know, like Lollapalooza or was it Woodstock kind of event, like not saying we have to go crazy with LSD and drugs necessarily, but if they turn it into something like that, I'd be interested to go one of these years.
well, did Woodstock happen more than once?
Well, I mean, I just
There,
mean in the
there
sense
actually
of
was. They tried to redo Woodstock,
But it didn't.
It was
didn't really
horrible.
work. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
bad.
well, just okay. So maybe not Woodstock's the right one, but just other music,
Like Coachella.
Coachella, there we go, like
Yeah.
stuff like that,
Stagecoach.
If they become something more permanent, like an annual thing, I think it'd be fun to go. Just check out a bunch of alien merchandise. Who knows what you could find out there?
Yeah.
So not it'd be like a Dale Gribble on a King of the Hill, like alien urine. Or
Yeah, dude, I would love to go to an alien convention.
yeah, I'd definitely be down for that.
It'd be so much fun.
But yeah,
Just go to Walmart.
So kind of backtracking a bit, I was talking about working overtime at work, and you guys know I went through the whole weight loss contest. I won. It was awesome. My team had a good celebration for that. But no, apparently, whoever was in charge of payroll didn't add the money to my check.
Fight them.
It's frustrating, man, because it's like that. I'm not saying that was the only purpose. Obviously, I enjoy being healthier. I enjoy being 30, 40 pounds less than I was a couple months back. But what the heck, man? Like, because I even talked to some of my other teammates, and they got the bonus money on their checks. Why did they miss mine?
What
Like,
the heck?
Yeah, it's like I was supposed to get again $200 because it was the team effort and then the individual contest. And yeah, that's $200 off my check. And I'm just like, what the heck, man? I was trying to like, because I bought all those Halo guns or whatever we talked about on the last podcast.
Yeah.
I was gonna take Sarah out, and we still did that, mind you. I didn't just say like, oh, I didn't get the money. We're canceling our date night. But no, it was just like, what? Like how? How do you mess that up?
So it's still coming though, right?
Hopefully, like they pretty much told me I have to go out of my way to contact the central HR office, and it's just like, how come? I'm telling you now, you're in charge of my paycheck. How come you can't handle that? Like,
Yeah. That's
Because they're
lame.
lazy.
yeah, it's like I love my job, but come on, guys, don't drop the ball on this one.
Yeah.
It's because you're a white privileged male.
Yeah, totally. I know.
You're not a minority.
I've had too much blessing. But anyway, yeah. So we're transitioning off of random things because we just went from aliens to work. Now we're going to another random topic here. Okay, so I saw a post on Facebook, and I think it was on Instagram as well. And we're heading into the Halloween season. People are getting their parties planned out. They're getting their costumes designed and ready. I saw a costume that was for a sexy Mr. Rogers. It was basically
What?
like a crop top, red sweater type material, has a little tie and everything, and then you have like a mini skirt that's the material, like the plaid or khaki that he would wear when he comes into the house and everything. How do you guys feel about it? Because it's just awkward for me.
I watched every episode of Mr. Rogers, and never once did I see him wear that. It's not accurate at all.
So it's not show accurate. That's
Yeah, that's
despicable.
outrageous. At least do him justice.
Gosh, man, could you? I don't. Oh, now I don't want to picture that though. The like Mr. Rogers coming through with some short shorts. It's like, hey guys.
You know what surprises me is that Dylan doesn't think that's sexy, but he calls all these actors sexy and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, what's the surprise there? It's an old dude who's like 80 years old compared to Brad Pitt, who's still got a six pack. Why would I call?
Is that the one?
Yes, there we go. John found a photo
Shoot,
of
I'd
it.
call her Mrs. Rogers.
Ms. Rogers.
Ms. Rogers? Yeah, that would make more sense.
But anyway.
It's so stupid. What's with the tie?
Yeah, well, again, it's like,
Like-
they will take
She
anything.
just looks like a schoolgirl, where they
With a red
couldn't-
top, like-
and they couldn't afford actual clothes. They're like half clothes.
Well, they didn't know how to do their laundry.
Yeah, they
That's
shrunk,
why.
they shrunk in the wash. That's what ended up
Dryer.
happening. But yeah, it's getting a little carried away. I know they try to do like other costumes throughout the years have been like sexy nun, sexy librarian, or just all this other random stuff. It's just like,
Yeah.
come on, guys. Getting too ridiculous when you start bringing Mr. Rogers, of all people, into the sexy category.
Next thing you know, they're gonna do like a sexy Bob Ross and sexy Steve Irwin.
that afro, though.
Oh my goodness, it's getting outrageous.
That's one thing I am jealous of is a white guy who can grow an afro. That's pretty unique.
Probably
Yeah.
Jewish.
Okay. I mean, whatever.
This is the random section, I guess.
Yeah, anyway. But yeah, so.
Well, yeah. Speaking of Bob Ross and Steve Irwin, I want to do like a little. I want to have a conversation about these three guys. So,
Okay.
Mr. Rogers, Bob Ross, and Steve Irwin.
Okay.
All of them versus who would win in a fight.
Versus. Oh, man. I would easily.
Steve Irwin.
Yeah, I would easily
so?
give it to Steve Irwin. If we're talking a versus match, like, I mean, the dude has the power.
Wrestles crocodiles.
Yeah. Like,
Bob Ross was in the military.
I don't know. I'd still.
Mr. Rogers, I don't think he ever was. There's this big rumor that Mr. Rogers was
No,
in, was in
I think
Vietnam, and
That's just,
I'm pretty
yeah,
sure it's
that's-
been debunked.
It's just misinformation. I know even one of my teachers tried spreading that around to some of the kids, but yeah, no, he did not actually do that. Like if we're talking versus each other to like battle to the death. Sorry, Mr. Rogers, he's gone first. But I mean, just because
Yeah.
he's so old and everything. But Bob Ross sadly died of cancer. That was another tragic thing that happened. But
yeah.
I don't know. I think I would still give the edge to Steve Irwin with the animal stuff because if we're just making it a fair fist fight, not necessarily that Bob Ross
Yeah.
has access to a gun or something, or Steve Irwin has access to control animals and attack, which I don't know. In that sense, I'd still probably give it to him.
Yeah.
If he could
Mr. Rogers
have it.
got a lot of neighbors.
But it's just one on one. But anyway, no, I think though if it would come down to a contest between who I cherished more, like or who had a more.
Well, hold on. It's
It's not about who you cherish. It's
No, no,
about
I'm
who would
just-
win
dude,
in a
no,
fight.
just no. Don't even go there.
What?
Look, okay. I'm still laughing at what John said. Like Mr. Rogers shows up with like a bunch of neighbors,
Yeah,
and Steve
man.
Irwin with a bunch of animals. Bob Ross is over there with a bunch of his happy little trees.
No, Bob Ross would
He
come.
brings all his paintbrushes and sharpens the tips of them.
Okay, so we all pretty much agree that Steve Irwin would probably win. The
Yes.
reason I stopped you, Dylan, was because I want to go there next.
What the? So,
Time out. You know what I'm thinking about right now? Is let's say Mr. Rogers ends up killing one of them.
Okay.
He's about to deliver the death blow, and he's just like, "Won't you not be my neighbor?" Nah.
That would be pretty epic.
Right. But he's gonna die first. We all know that.
I don't know. I think what would be better is if he like tied him up like after they're already just beat to a pulp, and then he ties him up, puts him on a little train track, and the train comes in. Finishing blow that way.
Honestly, this isn't even what I wanted to talk about with these guys. I just thought it would be fun to throw them in a fight together.
This is why we get thrown into the random category. I mean, like, hey, stuff happens.
Because like all of these guys are all about peace.
Right.
So the question,
because they're referred to as the Trinity of wholesomeness.
Yes.
Yeah. So
So if you had to like, I don't know, should we pick one favorite or should we pick one that we would have to choose to live without, kind of like we did?
To live without.
Which one would you want to be your grandpa?
Ooh.
Let's see. Ooh, man.
How about not grandpa, because Steve Irwin's not old enough? But which one would you want to be your neighbor?
Let's say he lived to be old enough.
Yeah, I mean, they.
Which one would you want to be your neighbor?
Wait, is Mr. Rogers still alive or is he dead now?
He's not alive.
Okay, yeah,
All three
because
of
I'm
them are dead
yeah,
now.
that's what I figured. Okay, I'm just making sure before we get into this. But anyway, so what's your question that you want to ask, Luke, for this one?
Who would you want to be your neighbor? You can only pick one.
Man, my neighbor. I don't know, because I think, and you guys, you might hate me for this, Luke, at least, because I didn't really grow up watching Bob Ross all that much, so I think he kind of takes third seat to the other two.
Yeah.
I'd probably lean towards Steve Irwin just because I did watch a lot of Animal Planet growing up with my dad and everything.
Yeah.
Just so I think it'd be cool. I mean, I know like what's awesome to see is the kind of values he had. Like from what you hear from his family, his beloved wife and his children, and everything. Like he instilled a lot of values in them to make them kind of carry on his legacy with like animal care and everything else. And not that I want to say he met his wife like through animal care as well. Like she wasn't just got brought into it, but no, he just seemed like a really genuine, nice guy. And again, for what it's worth, I think he had more impact on my life. So him being my neighbor would be epic and awesome. Then I could play with his kids, dude. We'd be out like safari hunting together.
Oh, there you go.
Or not hunting, but yeah.
Your answer is so deep. Like I'm picking Steve Irwin too, but my reason is I like to do outdoorsy crap, and so does he.
Yeah, outdoorsy crap.
Yeah,
but no, but he just, like I said, he's just super genuine, always nice. From what you hear from people, just an awesome dude all around. So
wait, you said you wouldn't hunt with him?
Well, I mean, hunting implies that you're killing the animals. That's not
true.
Yeah,
that's not his thing.
Yeah, that's not what I'm trying to do at all.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but anyway, how about you, Luke?
It's tough. Like, I think it'd be cool to have all three of them as a neighbor. Like, you just
Yes,
get the
of course.
friendliness.
No
Like-
shame to either of them.
Like, wait, would they all be roommates as your neighbor?
Well, like one on the left, one on the right, one across the street.
Yeah, that'd be
okay.
cool.
But like, I'm trying to decide what is more important to me. You've got the just neighborly friendliness that Mr. Rogers would bring, which would be nice. I can imagine him inviting me over for dinner numerous times. That could be fun. Bob Ross would be interesting to learn from an artist. Learn how as a musician, we have a similar struggle that Bob Ross does, where when you make a mistake, you have to make it part of your masterpiece.
Right.
So it'd be interesting to just kind of glean from that. And then Steve Irwin, like you said, outdoorsy stuff. No one better than Steve Irwin for that kind of stuff.
Right.
I think I got to go with Steve Irwin also, just because it seems like more fun.
Yeah.
Maybe when I'm older, I'm like, I don't want to do any of that anymore. Maybe chill out with Bob Ross and Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, I think if I'm old and I have to have them as a neighbor, I wouldn't want Steve Irwin. They'd be causing a ruckus all the time.
Oh man.
I would want Mr. Rogers or Bob Ross. Probably more Mr. Rogers though. Because he won't really bother me. He'll just say hi when I go outside and water my lawn,
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's got a pet squirrel, so that's kind of cool.
Oh really?
Neat.
Oh nice.
Bob Ross, yeah.
Oh, dude, it was like, okay, so was it you, Luke, who mentioned like one to the left, one to the right, and then one across the street from you? I think if I were to strategically place, if I could choose where they would go, I would want Bob Ross across the street from me so I could look at his beautiful artwork. I mean, think about that. You look through your window and then you just see his paintings. Like, again, dude was awesome. I don't take any credit from him, but
Peer into his bedroom and see
I
his
know
beautiful
that's not
paintings.
No, but then that makes sense because then if you have Steve Irwin on your left or right, you can look over your fence and see the alligators or the other
you
animals.
could see like fun animals on one side of you, and then if you have Mr. Rogers on the next, you just have a pleasant neighbor who'd be like, hey, can I borrow a cup of sugar, or do you need a cup of sugar, or the classic lovable neighbor.
So you know how this is kind of on topic.
Okay.
You know how there's cartoons now who just kind of copy old cartoons or old shows. Nothing's ever original.
Yeah, everything's like a lot of remakes.
There's a kids show. I can't remember the name of it for the life of me, but it's basically a recreation of Mr. Rogers, but Mr. Rogers is a hamster or a squirrel, one of the two, and the whole town is just animals. It's really weird.
Well,
And they sing the same songs, the "Won't You Be My Neighbor," blah blah blah.
Was that based off of like because he has that is it like Imagination Land or whatever when the little train goes through the tunnel and then there's like the king and the like all the little animal critters that are
It might be.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I don't remember that far back, but
yeah I think that's I mean that would be my guess. I don't like using the word guesstimation, but that'd be my guess that
yeah. So maybe
you know,
I'm
that
wrong.
was
Maybe
based
it's
off
not
of.
them necessarily copying it. Maybe it is that imaginary land.
Okay, yeah.
I always liked the trolley and the nice little piano music and Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
Yes. Do. Yeah. Again, it's super pleasant. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You know, Luke, you talked about it a couple episodes back, and I meant to actually bring these up last week.
That's my fault. I didn't include it in the topic paper because I thought you just left it on there from last week.
No. Because So, for those of you who know and listened in a couple episodes back, Luke brought up camp stories, and just whether it could be camping, vacation, whatever, just funny things that might have happened throughout our times as either children or recently, whatever else. And at the time, I was kind of caught off guard. I couldn't really think of anything, but I after leaving the episode, I went to work and I immediately thought of like, oh my gosh, I got 2 great stories I could share. And I wrote them down on Post-it notes and I brought them to share them with the listeners today. And I hope you guys enjoy them.
I am salivating mentally over these stories.
So your brain gooping right now?
Yes.
Nice.
Sounds weird.
Only a little
You
bit.
sound weird.
You look weird.
Hey.
No, I'm just kidding. You're beautiful.
Aw.
Don't lie to him.
You don't sound weird.
Yeah, but okay.
That's funny.
So, all that to be said, for the first story I want to share, when I was in elementary school, my family, we did a lot together, but what's a little known fun fact about my family, my mother was actually a surrogate mother for an Israeli family that she fought. Wow, not fathered. She I almost said fostered, and then I'm like mothered. Nope, don't combine those
I
two
thought you
words.
said fought.
Yeah, I thought
No,
you said
but so anyway, she
Israeli family
carried
fought.
she carried three beautiful daughters that are all grown up now for this family, and so to thank us, the family actually paid for our entire family, our direct family anyway, to actually fly out to Israel and go to the Holy Land. It was awesome. It was amazing.
Wow.
But though, I mean, I could go into that later as far as like more detail and stuff. But the one story I want to share that's something kind of funny and ridiculous. From what my siblings tell me, and I think even my parents, I mean, of course they would remember it too, but I was a kid at the time, so I don't remember much. Apparently, at some point when we were in one of the hotel rooms, I started running around the beds naked. And this is me, like, again, like a 5-year-old Dylan or like a 6-7-year-old Dylan, whatever it was. Like I said, it was early in elementary school. I'm just running around naked, and I was doing this dance called the head bang bam. Like that's what I titled it, to where I would clap my hands together over my head and just tilt my head back and forth as if I was doing like almost like an Indian dance or something, like just bouncing around. It was
You
just
thought you were in India, but
like it was just.
I can't imagine you as a kid. I'm just imagining.
Don't imagine
you
me now
right
naked.
now,
Don't
yeah.
do that.
I'm imagining you as you appear now, but like
No.
3 feet tall.
with a beard.
Yeah. And I'm like, no.
Oh my gosh, man! But yeah, so that was one of the memories that stuck with them. I think I remember bringing it up too, or my sister brought it up to me the other night when I was over at her house, the head bang bam and everything. I don't remember doing it naked. I remember doing the dance. I just don't remember being naked when I did it.
Oh my goodness.
But
You
yeah,
sound
so-
like an idiot.
Yeah, I'm an idiot. I have no shame in admitting it. So
And for you listeners, if you see Dylan at all this week, ask him to do the head bang bam.
yeah, I'll do it for you.
He'll do it.
I'll do
He'll,
it. I just
he'll
gotta
have
take
clothes
I gotta-
on, but
Yeah, he'll have
Yes,
clothes on,
let's
but he'll
get that
do it.
straight right now. But I just have to take my glasses off because I can tweak my neck pretty hard, so I don't want those flying off. They almost did at my sister's house.
that
But,
would be bad.
Huh?
That would be bad.
It would be bad because this is my only pair of working glasses that I have right now. I need to go get another one. But anyway, so the second story I had, this was actually our whole extended family. I think it was, I don't know if it was on my dad's side or my mom's side or both, but we did an RV trip to the Grand Canyon. And so we had multiple families, and my family's huge because 1, they're Italian, and 2, they're Catholic. So they just kept breeding like rabbits. So, pretty much like I have, on both sides of my parents, I have 8 aunts and uncles. One of them, or a few of them, have passed, sadly. But yeah, so each of those pretty much had their own, got married. So then that adds in 8 more aunts and uncles, and then just distributes down all the way and everything to now they have families, kids, whatever. So needless to say, big trip, all of us in RVs. And one of the nights, I was gonna go spend the night with my my aunt and uncle at in their RV, and I forgot where we were at the time, but so I go upstairs, or up in the little bed that's above the driver's seat. You guys know what I'm talking about, of the RV campers?
Yes.
So I get up there with my
the fifth
cousin.
wheels.
We're sleeping there and everything, and I go to bed. Wake up the next morning, covered in pee.
No.
And so I peed the bed, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And so I calmly crawled out of the bed, and I was gonna go wake up my aunt and uncle, but like, I was gonna go get them, but I noticed they were still sleeping. And I'm just like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? So I left their RV, went to mine, and just like did nothing about it. So my cousin got to wake up in a bed of piss. My aunt and uncle probably discovered it later, and then like, but nobody said anything about it after the trip. Like they probably figured, and you know, obviously I was just so embarrassed. I remember going to like I said, to my parents' RV in the morning, just you know, knocking on the door, like I peed the bed, I don't know what to do, and so they just brought me in. I changed out my clothes and everything, but yeah, nobody said anything. At least I don't remember they did, and I was just
either that or they thought it was your cousin.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine?
He's like, I swear it wasn't me.
They're like, yeah, no wonder Dylan left.
I think it was one of my girl, like female cousins or whatever. Like, so yeah, it would have. It's either way. Like maybe they did think it was her, but yeah, it was a no go. It was just so bad. I felt terrible for it, but yeah,
Sheesh.
sorry.
That's horrible.
Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do?
Do you have any stories, John?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I've been camping my whole life. I don't know if you guys know or the listeners.
Well, not right now.
probably-
You're not camping.
Well, I mean, yeah, but we actually lived in a trailer for 2 or 3 years, and because my dad traveled a lot for work, so we'd stay at a lot of different campsites and stuff. while
Makes
we
sense
lived in the
financially, yeah.
trailer. Yeah, and this one time, it was like an RV park. It was like an extended campground where people would stay for multiple weeks. Or
Okay, so they'd have like the connections, outlets.
Right,
And okay,
yeah.
yeah.
So we were there for I think a month, 2 months, something, and so you get to know your neighbors fairly well, right? And
Of course.
this the spot next to us opened up, and so this new guy pulls in, and his trailer was weird. It had a sliding glass door like you would have on the back of your house. Yeah,
Okay.
it was interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah, and so you know, one day I'm a little kid. I'm not in school yet, and we're looking out the window of our trailer just around because we didn't go outside. I don't know why, but anyway, that's not important.
There's
to the
danger
story.
outside.
Well, yeah, actually, I'm
Oh,
gonna
gosh.
get there. And so we're looking, and we see something huge moving in the guy's trailer because it's a big sliding glass door.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, what is that? We're like, Mom, look at this. Look at the guy had a freaking 10-foot alligator in
What?
his trailer.
Wow.
You were next door to Steve Irwin?
Yeah.
You this whole neighbor conversation, you're just like, well, when
He was
I
just
had
sitting on
Steve
it.
Irwin as a neighbor.
No, it was crazy though because everyone got so concerned because they're thin panes of glass. I think
Right.
at the most it's like a 3/8 inch thick glass, maybe 1/4 inch.
Yeah, and that can easily be shattered by just a dog running too hard into it, let alone an alligator.
Yeah. And so everyone's freaking out. They call the cops, and everyone's gathered around the trailer, staring at it. I'm like, y'all are crazy. I'm staying in the trailer. Like, I'm not getting out.
Oh, heck no.
And so the cops come. They finally get a hold of the guy, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I work for a circus. Like that's my
What?
act.
Wow.
I do an act with the alligator." And he's like, "He's fine. I leave him in there all the time."
That's kind of cool though.
Right? It's
Yeah.
wild.
Oh gosh, but it's gonna be one bad day where that thing just. I mean, thankfully it wasn't on your the time you
Yeah.
guys were next to it. But man, that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I have a plethora of camping stories.
I thought you were gonna say a plethora of alligator stories. I'm like, do tell.
Well, I'll tell you the camping stories.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and combine this, relate it to yours. It's another story about peeing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah.
Sorry, I think I know where it's going.
So we were camping in Joshua Tree. I mentioned this
Yeah.
with the bees a couple episodes back. Same place, but a different time.
Okay.
So we were camping there, my family and then our grandparents as well. And we were sitting around the campfire, and then it's time to go to bed. So all the ladies go to bed. We tell them we'll take care of the fire, we'll put it out. And then our grandpa and our dad, they're like, "You want to do this the man's way?" We're like, "Yeah, let's do it the man's way." And they're like, "Well, we have built-in natural hoses, so that's how we're gonna put it out."
Natural hoses.
And of course, my brother and I are like, "Yeah, that sounds great." So we all get together, huddle around this fire, and we pee on it to extinguish the fire. Have you ever dumped water on a fire?
Yes, I've dumped water on a fire before,
goes
and the smoke
And yeah,
comes.
it goes like that. It does that with urine too. It's amazing. The only problem is urine smells gross. It was terrible. We were engulfed in a cloud of urine smoke, steam, whatever you want to call it. Like, I'm serious. Like, we could not see each other anymore. Like, it was bad. It flooded throughout the entire
Oh my
campsite.
gosh.
It was gross. We went to bed like that was a bad idea. Woke up the next morning, and the park ranger was there. He was like, Do you guys know anything about people peeing on a fire last night? Because it smells gross. Like, yeah, it might have been us.
Oh my gosh.
So he was like, okay, don't do that again. We're like, yeah, no problem. We're not going to do it again.
I kind of want to try it now just to see.
Don't.
No,
It is not worth it. Do a really tiny fire in like your backyard or something, and then
Yeah,
pee
in your
on
backyard.
it, and you'll get literally a sniff. And
What if I just light a match and like pee it out?
maybe
You think that would work? Maybe.
it might. I don't know.
I don't know.
I've never tried that.
Ugh.
Okay.
Gosh, man, no, just no.
So sorry if there's anybody listening that remembers that.
If you smell pee right now, it was Luke.
It was us. So
Burnt
sorry.
pee.
Burnt
Oh,
pee. Yeah.
man.
You guys polluted the air with pee smog.
Pog.
Smog.
Smog.
Oh man. Oh, dude. Okay. So speaking of stories, right? All right.
Speaking of stories,
Speaking
that's
of
so
stories.
broad. Like,
Yeah,
you can relate
exactly. That's-
anything
That's
to
all we
that.
do on here.
Speaking of things we talk about a lot, some things. Okay, so last week I told you guys about like all the cops like coming at me and everything, just like at random times playing Pokemon, whatever else.
Yeah.
Okay, so now apparently Sarah has been kind of harassed or attacked by the cops. So not attacked. I'll it sounds a little harsh.
Yeah.
But
Luke
anyway,
got
so
so
here's
concerned.
here's the story, right? Okay, so you guys are you know how there's like the spam callers that'll like get a hold of your phone number and they just keep calling you and calling you and calling you. Sometimes they'll claim to be the IRS. They'll claim to you need to come to court, blah, like whatever random thing. Like they try to just freak people out and make you think that you have to come and like, oh gosh, what happened? Like how do I get rid of this? And it's all fake. But so anyway, there was Sarah received a call the other day, and she thinking it was just a random missed number or something. She's like, oh whatever, just ignore the call. And then she looked it up on her computer when she was at work. Turns out it was the LAPD. And she's just like, okay, that's strange. Same thing, just thinking to herself, maybe they had the wrong number, whatever. And so she ignored the call, but then like immediately they called back again, like, and they like the number kept coming back to her, and she's like, well, crap, like maybe I need to figure something out. Like not that she's done anything wrong that she would be in trouble, but it's just like, why do they keep calling me? And so what they end up doing is they call her up, and so she calls them back and says like, hey, I've received a couple calls from this number, like what's going on, is there anything that involves me? And so the person on the other end asks like, oh hey, are you we have this number on file for such and such a person, like they need to come in, like this was the actual LAPD, like this wasn't a scam call at this point. And so she's telling them like, no, you have the wrong number, this isn't the X, Y, and Z person you're looking for, this is I'm Sarah. And so the person on the other end, like after she tells him that, goes, are you sure? And it's just like, I'm trying to think this one through. Like if they ask the question, are you sure? What are you expecting the person to say? Like if they're
oh crap, they know.
like, oh, you got me, yeah, honor system, sorry. Like
Either that or like, not entirely.
it's
I'm
like,
kind of sure.
I think that's what my birth certificate says.
yeah, just like what were they expecting her, like, again, like, oh, you caught me, like, or yeah, this is so and so, you got me red-handed. It's like, no, even if it was the person, they're not gonna fess up to that. Like, no,
Yeah.
it's still the wrong number. Click, like, yeah. But so she got it squared away. She's not in trouble or anything.
That's
But
so
I just
funny.
like that's the great police work you have working for the LAPD right now.
Wow.
Are you
Oh my
sure?
Gosh, yeah. Like, are you sure you're not the person we're looking for? It would really make my life easier if you were.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe they were just like tired of making phone
Oh,
calls. They have
gosh.
absolutely no idea what the number is. They're like, please,
Yeah.
please be you.
But yeah, so that was Sarah's fun for the week. But all that being said, Luke, I think we're finally ready to transition to the entertainment portion of the podcast. My beautiful angels, I love you both.
Oh, thanks, Dylan.
Although I will say I have no intention to go see the Charlie's Angels remake.
That's a thing?
Yeah, you haven't seen the trailers for that?
No.
No.
Oh,
I
wait, yeah, I have.
Yeah, I was about to say it's got Kristen Stewart in there.
Yeah.
She's got the acting ability of a dry paint wall. Like so,
Dry paint wall or paint drying wall? Drying paint wall?
either one works. She's got the acting ability
the
of a
wall
wall.
dry yet or not? That's what we're getting.
No.
at.
Exactly, it's dry. That's what I would going for. Like it's
Oh.
dry. There's nothing to even watch
Well,
there.
what color is it?
At least with the paint drying, you can see
she's
something
white.
happening.
That's true. Is it like eggshell white or like
like
White.
person white.
White.
Person white.
That would be a good. Do you guys have any person white? I'm looking to paint my walls with person white.
Oh
So
gosh.
slightly tan.
It's like I'm looking to paint my walls with person. That's
we
how
have some
like that's how you find a
peaches.
that's
We've
how you
got a
find a
bucket
serial
of
killer.
blood laying around.
Ugh. Yeah, that'd be a nightmare.
Yeah, okay.
But so anyway,
Well, they'll paint him with person.
getting off of Hannibal Lecter stories here.
That's what Dylan said.
Moving on.
Shake your head at me, rude.
Yeah, so okay, I talked about it last week. You guys know I went to go see Ad Astra, right? And I was super excited.
You saw it without us?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
We
did.
had a pact.
Yeah.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
No,
did.
it wasn't for Ad Astra,
We
dude.
sliced
was
our
it for
palms
then?
open.
It was a
and
different
shook on
movie. It was not
What
Ad Astra.
movie?
Check the tape. It was not Ad Astra that we were going to
We
see
don't
it
have
for.
a
Yeah.
tape.
No, because
It's all online.
check the podcast. I told you guys it was not going to be that. It was going to be it was something else that we had talked about that was coming out in the future. It was I told you already that I had plans to go see it with Sarah opening night on Thursday.
Full of crap.
That's true. He did say that.
I'm
but
telling you, look-
we were also talking about the same movie. We're like, yeah, we'll all have to go and see that. And you're like, yeah.
It was not. I'm telling you, it was not Ad
It was.
Astra.
You just
No, it
apparently
wasn't.
You gave us a not very thought out answer.
Nope, it was not Ad Astra. I will stick with that until you prove me wrong. But
Yeah,
anyway,
that was episode 8. I'm gonna go back and listen to
go
it.
back and listen. It was not Ad Astra. It was something
Do
else
we
I
have
was
the
talking
topic
about.
sheet from last week?
I don't know. It's probably in the binder or
Really?
binder, the box for right now.
Yeah. The shoebox.
Anyway, I'm just trying to get to a movie review, man. You guys are already grilling me about this crap.
You're gonna-
we'd be able to review it with you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you
whatever.
realize how epic this could have been?
Yeah, not well. That's the sad thing is Ad Astra was not that good.
Really?
Like you could like
It's
there-
minus Astra.
that's the sad part. I really didn't want to come to that conclusion or whatever, but you know I went and saw it with Sarah opening night, and even though like usually what'll happen is critics will give a movie like it's an okay thing, but then the audience will love it because it's just whatever, the critics are just too stuck up. They care too much. Nope, it's like the complete flip flop. Like I think it got like an 80 or something on Rotten Tomatoes, and then all the audience reviews are down to like 40%. Like it like again, I thought it was gonna be a good movie, had the great cast, but it was lackluster. It was just not worth seeing, honestly.
You know what would have made it better?
Anything
If
else?
we were there.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You know what? All that wind just got sucked.
Huh?
All that wind just got sucked.
Luke sucking wind.
Sucked right out of my sails.
Yeah.
Oh, I was very confused. I didn't know.
Anyway, I didn't know where he was going with that one either.
I
was
get it
like,
now. His sailboat's not going nowhere now because all the wind's been sucked away.
Been deflated. But yeah. So
Sailboats
it just
don't deflate.
look on it.
Deflate? Yeah, what?
I'm not saying the sailboat
not
itself. I'm saying the
inflatable.
sails deflated.
Sails don't inflate.
Sure they do.
No.
With wind.
No, I'd have to disagree.
This is by far the weirdest part of this episode.
I'm just trying to get through movie reviews, and you keep bringing in sailboats and other stupid things. All right, I'm just trying to finish
saying,
this.
The wind got sucked. Hey, phrase of the week. The wind got
The
sucked.
wind got sucked.
There we go.
Let us
Anyway,
know to get your
trying to
peanut
move on to the
M&M.
next thing that we have on the docket. Another movie review.
Docket,
It was
sailboats, docks.
It's all connected, and I hate it. But honestly, this was not a good week for movies because I actually went and saw, and not that it was the opening weekend release necessarily, but I went and saw It Part 2 this weekend.
I heard it was terrible.
I expected it to be way more scary, dude. It just
It was terrible.
But yeah, no, same thing. It's just like both of these movies I was expecting to either, for what they're worth, you have a horror movie and then, space adventure, whatever you want to call it. And they just both failed to deliver. Like I was not scared watching the movie It, and I did not really care all that much watching the movie Ad Astra. Like they just both were so lackluster and didn't have much driving for it. It's like, granted, I mean, I saw It, back when they had the Tim Curry one and he was the clown and everything. And
Was that scary to you?
well, I saw it as a kid, so yes,
Okay.
it was. But so some of the parts, like, it wasn't necessarily going to shock me or surprise me that, like, oh, this character got hurt or this happened in the movie, like, whatever else, because I knew where the conclusion was going to lead to. But at the same time, I was just like, this is not that scary. Like, I was sitting there watching it, and there wasn't any point where I had to, like, turn away or, oh, I got a jump scare. I got more jump scares out of 47 Meters Down Uncaged. Like,
That is sad.
that's
the
saying
shark one?
that's the sequel to the shark one that Luke hates. Like that's saying a lot for something as big as It. I don't know what the heck happened with it.
Was part 1 scary to you?
Part 1, yeah. Like seeing part 1, I got a couple scares there. I figured it would have led into something even worse or more nightmarish, and nope.
I don't know. I wasn't very scared watching part 1 of it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm not scared of clowns.
No, I'm
if
not.
you're
I'm
not
not
scared
either.
of clowns, it's not really a scary
Yeah,
movie.
it's just kind of like, whoa, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
So
Yeah,
I
well-
thought it was thrilling, scary. No,
Well, I mean, like again, I didn't walk away having nightmares because of it, but I'm just saying, like, it was more scary than the second one or the sequel. Like, and that's the other thing too. I got more scared watching Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which was again a PG-13 movie as opposed to a rated R movie.
yeah, it was a kids movie, right?
I mean, essentially, it was based off of kids' books. Just like, sheesh. But yeah, I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, it just don't. Maybe wait till they come out on Redbox. If
This is disappointing.
it
Yeah,
really
this is
was,
sad.
dude. I'm not happy about it either. This is the first week that we've had on the podcast where I'm not excited about a movie coming out, or well, granted, there's things coming out that I'm looking forward to, but like as far as movie reviews themselves, like this was just terrible. I'm sad, Luke.
Me too. Like
Holy-
I wanted to see those, and now
I'm sorry.
is it responsible for me to still spend money to see these? I don't know anymore.
I'd say just wait. I mean, I'm gonna wait. Like if it comes out, like for what it's worth, I might still buy Ad Astra. I'm gonna wait till it goes on sale though. I ain't buying it opening week or first week when it comes out on DVD.
So it wasn't as good as Interstellar.
No, Interstellar was way better
Interstellar's
because it's not. Yeah, it's not even a matter
fantastic.
like I've said on the podcast. I'll watch all kinds of movies, whatever kind of storyline or whatever they have going for them. Like I'll watch everything. And Interstellar was amazing to me, but no, this was just no.
What's that other one?
It was It was minus Astra, not Ad.
John already made that joke.
Well, I'm making
yeah,
it again.
did. Wah, wah.
Whatever.
Okay, so there's this other space movie. I think it's Mark Wahlberg that's in it, where he's
Okay.
stuck on Mars. Did you guys see that one?
Planet
No,
of the
it's
Apes.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Started with an M.
Yeah.
The Martian.
Yeah, The Martian. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a good one too. I like that one.
That was a good one. It was super unrealistic.
Right.
Like where they're orbiting around Mars, and he's like hanging out the window. and he's
but
like,
at least that one kept your your eyes. It kept
Yeah.
entertaining you throughout the whole thing.
I was like Iron Man. Oh my goodness, that was so dumb. The rest of the movie was good though.
All right, and to make a bad situation worse, so for those of you X-Men fans out there, this last Tuesday, Dark Phoenix released on Blu-ray and DVD for everyone everywhere to not buy it because that movie sucked.
We just got it in FYE, and I put it out there. I was like, "Boss, do I have to do this?
Oh,
You're just gonna have me move it in another couple of weeks."
pretty much, man. It's just that
Still
movie.
haven't seen
That
it.
was one of the ones, almost like Ad Astra. The previews, because I had no faith in the X-Men franchises after they did the original trilogy. Like X-Men 1 and 2, I liked and loved, but again, number 3, it's like that's when they teetered off because they tried to do like the whole big like X-Men United thing, and then they start doing the remakes or like the prequels with like Days of Futures Past, or First Class, whatever else. And even those were just kind of like okay to me. Like everyone else loved them, but I'm just like, whatever. I like James McAvoy. I like the guy who played Charles Xavier, who was also in It. Can't think of his name off the top of my head, but just like okay, certain casting choices were pretty good, but overall the movie's just there was so much continuity errors, and this one still had them in it as well. It was just like there was continuity errors. The plot line sucked. They got rid of good cast characters early on in the movie because same thing with like
Was it actor bait?
I don't know if it was okay. Well, here's the thing: they didn't necessarily kill off completely characters.
Okay.
But they would have them be, they're injured. They can't fight anymore. We have to leave them in the hospital while
Yeah.
we're like again, just you go into the movie hoping to see like certain characters have like kind of breakout moments and stuff, and just like nope, he's dead, like or
They got a
injured.
boo-boo.
Yeah, they got a boo boo, so we won't see him for the rest of the film. I'm just like, oh my gosh, that movie sucked. Just don't bother seeing it. Just wait till Disney actually takes control of the X-Men series and starts making good movies. Like,
Oh,
'cause
I can't wait.
Fox, you guys suck. Like that's why you got bought out and that's why you went under. I'm sorry, but that's the reality of it all. Ugh. Yeah. So that's as far as movie. Oh no, you know what? One other thing as far as movies go, we are not done yet.
Oh.
So. And it's still probably more or less on the negative side of things for movies and entertainment this week. There are talks that they will reboot The Princess Bride, folks.
What?
It's
No.
a classic. They're gonna
No.
ruin it.
I don't-
All
yeah, I
they
don't
do
know.
now is reboots. The film industry's crap.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Are
saying.
you
It's like I
listening,
will,
kids? It's crap.
I will give points to a movie for being original, but it's like your plot still has to be good, whatever else. But yeah, I'm with dry throat. I don't have my water this week, but no, I'm right there.
guys.
I'm right there with you, John. I'm tired of Hollywood just doing nothing but reboots and everything that's unoriginal. What are you about to tell me?
So we have in our studio today our
Uh-huh.
friend Gustavo, and he went and did a fact check on the whole movie debate we just had about whether or not we were invited.
Oh.
Here's what he said.
Invited.
Well, like we made a pact to go see.
To go
it.
see
Oh,
Ad
okay.
Astra.
He says Dylan did mention he was going to watch it opening night, and Luke said he's excited to watch it, but there was no pact on all of you going together.
Boom. I'm telling you.
But I feel like there was still one movie or something we talked about.
That's what I'm saying. I will acknowledge that because there is another movie we talked about that's coming out that we do want to all see together. I'm completely for that. You know what? Look, I'll even go so far as to say I will buy your guys' tickets for it. Even though you were wrong on this one, I'll still buy your guys a ticket for this movie that we want to see together.
How did I get this deep cut through my palm then? If I didn't... I thought we did like a ritualistic, like slice your palm and shake your hand.
You moved away from dairy. You forgot everything.
Exchange blood.
You forgot the clown, man.
Well, all I'm saying is there's this deep cut in my hand now, and I didn't even get to see a movie.
Yep. Well, that was just your dumb self. You made a pact with yourself, apparently, at some point. Because me and John weren't involved in that. John doesn't have a cut on his hand. At least not that I can see.
Oh, they're both on my hands. Oh.
Oh, my gosh.
It was Joker.
Oh, no,
Joker.
That's literally what I'm looking
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. You win, Dylan.
Okay.
It was Joker.
Yeah, I just Googled movies coming out, and Joker was like the first one.
Okay.
Yep, it was Joker. But anyway, back to Princess Bride.
Yeah, no, stop it. No.
Why does it need to be rebooted? It's still relatable.
It doesn't need to be rebooted.
Yeah.
But, like, I even had a conversation with my friend who was messaging me the other day at work and telling me how she just saw it for the first time because she was actually asking about the wedding speeches and everything where Rachel got up and gave hers and threw in the whole marriage is what brings us here today. Like, she was asking me about that. And she's like, oh, yeah, I just saw The Princess Bride. It's a great movie. And I was like, good. She's like, I know I'm, years late on it, obviously, because, we've all already seen it and who hasn't by this point. But then I told her, like, no, you're actually just in time because they're talking about doing a freaking reboot, which is going to ruin it if you see that one first. Like, no, don't do it. Like, I'm pretty sure even the other actors and stuff they've taken to like Twitter or whatever social media platforms to just be like, no, don't do this. You don't need it. And like, it's not even, just for the sake of them being like, no, we had the best acting there was. It's like, no, it's a great movie though. Like, don't go reboot something that doesn't need to be messed with. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
You know what's crazy? When your wedding came around and was that that was Peter and Cheyenne's,
My
right? She
pants
made
were
that
on,
speech.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
So
Yeah.
when Peter and Cheyenne's wedding came around and she made that speech, I hadn't seen Princess Bride yet, so I thought she was like drunk
What?
or something. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was like a year ago.
Yeah. No, I've seen it since then.
How old were you? Like 23?
20.
24?
Yeah, I think I was 23.
Oh my goodness, it took you 23 years to see The Princess Bride?
But I was curious, like, what was she talking about up there? So I went and watched it.
And it was great.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that deserves remaking in that movie is the stupid floppy sword fights.
No, you don't like those. Or just it was just too like
Yeah.
apparent that it was like cheesy and like stage and everything.
No, I'm talking about the swords themselves, the prop swords.
Flaccid swords.
They were flaccid, yeah.
Swords.
They're just kind of like every time they hit, you can see it wiggling around. It's like, that was lame.
I must have not seen that, been paying attention that much then.
I don't know. It was like the only thing I noticed as a kid. I was like, why are their swords doing that?
Okay, so I just want to check real quick. Are we sure it was Joker? Again, if that's the one you guys want to see together, that's fine. But there's also Gemini Man coming out, Zombieland 2. Definitely.
I'm like 99% sure it was
Okay,
Joker.
like,
but I
which
do
I'm-
want to see Zombieland 2.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
definitely
that'd be
down to
good
see
too.
any of them. So, again, I have no complaints if I go to see
We
Joker or
should
not.
try
but
to see more movies together.
We should. That way we can all participate in the review.
Yeah.
You guys gotta get
Instead of Dylan
guys-
just, like I said, sucking the wind right out of my
Yeah.
sails.
Yeah, but you're saying I sucked it for the wrong reason, all right?
For you listeners, if you don't know, Dylan has like all the movie theater memberships and all that. He's like a
Not
crazy
all of
movie
them.
person.
Shoot, that
But-
means we have to see it at AMC if we go see a movie with you, doesn't it?
Maybe.
Is that the
Ah.
one way out in like
Tyler.
past Paris?
Oh, no.
Tyler.
You're
Tyler,
thinking
yeah.
of you're thinking of Regency, the one that I used to go to because it's
Yeah.
like the cheapest
I
theater, but
hate
they'll
that
still.
theater.
Regency sponsor us.
No, you know
They're
why? You know why I hated it? Because the amount of money I spend on gas to drive out there, I'm basically paying $10 for a movie ticket again.
Well, I'm definitely not going to Harkins for various reasons, which I will not say on the podcast.
You
but
don't like Harkins?
I don't know.
Harkins, sponsor us. We'll
No.
still take
Sponsor
your
us.
money.
Well, Luke will, but anyway, yeah. So that's that. Hopefully, it doesn't happen. Is there anything else I'm missing for entertainment this week?
Yeah, I think there's one more thing I wanted to talk about. It kind of goes with Marvel movies. It goes with Disney movies. It goes with reboots. The question is Netflix versus Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is going to be the dominant streaming service?
Whichever one is sexier.
Obviously. But we've had many challengers to Netflix. Amazon Prime, Hulu, all the like CBS All Access. None of them have come anywhere close to beating Netflix from its knocking Netflix from the King of the Hill spot.
Right.
It's true.
Will Disney Plus do it?
Yes.
You know what's crazy about that to me though is that Hulu and Amazon Prime, they have much newer movies, much newer shows, but still Netflix reigns supreme. And I don't understand
I think it's got more to do with TV shows.
Well, I mean TV shows too. Like Hulu, you can get episodes that came out like last week or the week before.
Right, but like they just have better TV shows on there.
Yeah, that's the thing and that's why I think to answer your question, Luke, that's why I definitely think that Disney Plus is going to end up taking out Netflix, because you think about what Netflix has on it. Like, yeah, they do have original shows, and I would like to think that those shows would stick around, but I mean, they've already got rid of the Defenders and everything else that's getting pulled for Marvel, and with this deal being made that where Disney's going to have their own streaming service to once again make more money, because that's what you do as a corporation, they're going to be pulling off a lot of the A-list movies that Netflix has right now.
Yeah.
So all those are going to be leaving that service, and then what are you left with on Netflix? You have a couple original shows here and there, but then you're left with libraries and libraries of B-rate movies, if not C-rate movies, that are just not worth paying the subscription for.
One thing is for sure, Netflix has not faced a competitor like Disney yet.
No.
And they're going to have to figure out how to adapt with this new competitor.
Nah, Disney's a jerk. They'll just buy him out.
there's that too.
I don't know, because they weren't able to buy out Sony.
Yeah.
They'll just call it
however,
Disney Flicks.
Apple, we'll jump into this right now. Apple is considering buying Sony.
Really?
Yeah. And if that happens, it's in the contract that if Sony ever gets bought out by anybody, Spider-Man and all the other characters they own
back to Marvel.
revert back to Marvel.
Oh, let's please let
So
that
they
get
won't
bought
even
out.
have to pay for it.
Nice.
Dude,
So
that'd be epic.
Yeah.
It's like they're doing like a bro fist thing, just tag teaming it for that one.
Yeah, so that would be pretty cool.
But like, I hate Apple products. I don't want to see Sony products become Apple owned. They're gonna change.
Right.
Be all crappy.
Huh. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that's horrible.
That means a PlayStation would be an Apple product.
Apple
Oh,
It'd be an
no.
Apple
Gosh,
station.
no.
Hey,
Dude.
that would be interesting though, because then it would be Xbox, Microsoft versus PlayStation, Apple.
Two American-owned companies. Look, for what it's worth, I mean, I do still lean towards Xbox more just because I like the games better on there. But no, Sony and PlayStation are doing fine. In that regard, I hope it doesn't happen then. Like, I hope that it just be a one-on-one thing. Sony and Disney, like, they battle each other out or figure something out, but not have this stupid. It would be like it'd be like Antonio Brown and his whole stupid thing going from the Raiders to the Patriots because all along he wanted to just go to the Patriots. Like,
It's not sports time yet.
not yet, but it can.
You're right. But I'll tell you where I stand. Spider-Man at all costs must return to Marvel.
Amen, brother.
So
Amen.
if Apple has to buy out Sony to do it, I'm all for it. I don't care about the consequences. We need
That's just 'cause you're not a big
Spider-Man
gamer, though.
back. I mean, do you play much PlayStation?
No, not PlayStation, but I know they put out good work for what it's worth right now. Like Sony and PlayStation put out good quality games. I mean, like just look at speaking of
equipment in general.
Yeah,
I
speaking
don't
of
think
Spider-Man, that was a great hit for PlayStation.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think it would change if Apple were to be in charge,
I think it might.
because they're
Apple's
not
a
they're
lot
not
like
going to
Disney.
make
They're
it.
both jerks.
They're not
Look,
going to
if
make it an Apple PlayStation.
If you've ever used an Apple iPhone, you know how bad they suck with technology. So
Apple Station. They'll call it an Apple
Dude,
Station.
I don't know. Everybody who's ever owned an iPhone has been pretty happy with it.
I've heard a lot of
They're
complaints
fools.
from I've heard complaints from people
I know
who are
they're
actually
fragile.
like in the tech industry and stuff. Like so.
Wait, the owners of the phone.
Yeah. So I know they're fragile and everything, but anyway, I don't care. I need Spider-Man back in the MCU.
All right, I can at least see to that.
But it's like, they're always going to make a Spider-Man movie. Who cares who owns it?
It's gotta be Tom Holland, and it's gotta be plugged into the rest of the MCU.
he's gonna die
That's
again.
the problem. Taking Spider-Man out, he's no longer in the MCU, which means that every Spider-Man movie is cut off from all his past with Iron Man, all his past with the Avengers, all the other stuff that's happening worldwide with the Avengers. There's no more referring to the snap that wiped everybody out or bringing them back.
that would
Just
basically
make his chubby friend Spider-Man.
just make him Night Monkey.
Yeah, Night Monkey. There's been a lot of talk
Monkey.
about that.
But yeah, that would pretty much be it. Is like you would only have Tom Holland Spider-Man up until the Infinity War saga, and then that's it. Because even the movie Far From Home, that's technically it's in part of that franchise, but it comes out after after Endgame and everything. And so at that point, you might as well just cut that movie off too, because the way it ended and the cliffhanger you got left on, it's like, well, we're not going to cover that anymore because Spider-Man's no longer a part of this. So just toss out that movie and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's just going to feel like an abrupt dead end with Spider-Man, and
But
then
that's
start
how it's
again.
always been with Spider-Man movies.
And it's been terrible. How is that?
But it's consistent at the very least.
I don't
stop
care.
it. We don't need a
Bad.
DC Batman thing going on right now with Marvel.
I
They're
know.
making it work.
Anyway, with Disney and Netflix, I think that's the biggest advantage that Disney has, the Marvel rights. And all of the TV shows that they have coming out, the thing that bugs me about it is I'm not going to have Disney Plus. No way.
Right.
They're going to tie all of those TV shows into the MCU. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to feel so lost.
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm going to do.
Well, for what it's worth, more than likely what's going to end up happening is if that does happen once the shows get pulled, unless I'm just really, because here's the other thing too, is like even for the Netflix originals, being streamed through their platform, you can still buy the series and stuff like on DVD form.
That's true.
So it's like, what am I going to be left with once all the other movies leave Netflix? It's like, okay, Stranger Things. What else?
But they have a lot of series. What's cheaper, to pay like $11.99 per month for Disney Plus, or to pay however much for every season of every show?
But again, they'll still have with the streaming service, they'll have the bundle packages also including Hulu and having ESPN Plus, which again, if I'm watching UFC fights and stuff like that, when they're actually doing things that are only streamed through that service. They used to do free fights on like Fox or FX, whatever. Now it's only that. So it's going to incline me as, someone who does have a variety of things I like to watch for entertainment. It's going to bring me over to that easily. And so,
So you're definitely predicting Disney Plus.
I definitely think they'll take it because again, if Disney knows anything, it's how to make money.
That's true,
yeah.
They're excellent capitalists.
Yup.
I don't know. I still think Netflix is going to figure out how to adapt and make this work.
They gotta
I
start
don't
getting more
know
movies,
what it's going to
good
be.
movies.
Yeah, I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe they're just going to go all out on their original content, and it's going to be better than it has been even. So I don't know, but I think at this point they're going to figure out a way to adapt.
Yeah. Well,
You know what's sad? Is
Life?
that like
No.
Well, yeah, but
that's the guy who just got engaged.
but that Redbox has really declined.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I thought that was gonna be like the new like rental movie everything,
Right.
but now that everything's streamed, it's obsolete almost.
Yeah, because you can just rent for $4 or $5, instead of driving your,
You
like
can
you were.
even rent stuff on YouTube. Movies.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know.
Because like I rent movies off of Amazon all the time and Hulu sometimes.
Right.
Well,
Yeah,
the
'cause
thing
it-
I
or not
like,
Hulu,
that's
just
that's
Amazon.
ultimate convenience. You don't have to leave your house and
Yeah.
you can get whatever you want.
But
Well-
the drawback is on Amazon they start at like $5, whereas at Redbox they're about what are they like $2 now?
Well,
They're
do you
not
have
$1
Amazon
anymore.
Prime though?
I do, yeah.
Okay. Oh.
You still have to rent or buy certain movies.
Right. No, I
Amazon
get that.
sponsor us.
I would definitely be down for that one.
Yeah. But the laziness factor does play in. 'Cause I don't
The
wanna
thing
go
with me
to
is
Redbox.
I like watching Blu-ray movies on a nice crystal clear TV
Right.
instead of watching as good as high def can be while streaming on my
Yeah,
phone.
exactly. And that's why I still buy Blu-ray copies and stuff, because again, the hard copy does still have better quality on it. Just
Yeah.
the
You don't have to worry
it's
about
just the
it, like,
convenience of
dropping
streaming.
out.
Like
Yeah.
if you have an old movie that came out in like the 90s or even some of the early 2000s, like yeah, you can probably get away with a streaming thing because it like whatever, it's gonna be like a few grains better. But just like no, it's when it comes out to stuff that's with the new technology now, that's definitely a plus to have the hard copy still available.
Here's the thing. I have one of them
Some things.
fancy TVs and I have Blu-ray on my PlayStation.
I still want a 3D TV. Sorry.
I really can't tell the difference between when I play a Blu-ray and a DVD. It all looks the dang same to me.
I can tell the difference.
See, I don't know. Maybe it's because I wear glasses and I'm kind of blind. But
Maybe so. You're disadvantaged.
yeah, I just don't see a difference. I don't see the big deal. The only time I buy Blu-ray movies is in those like $3 or $5 bins at Walmart.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm interested. I still haven't seen anything on 4K yet. I don't know anybody who has a 4K TV
Right.
or anybody that buys the 4K copies.
Yeah,
It's
I don't have a
expensive.
4K. I think there was one time where I think like a movie came out and it was again one of the exclusives somewhere, and for some reason they were only selling it in the 4K one, and so I don't know what exactly the problem with it was or why they didn't have one just for the Blu, because it was, I think it was the 4K Blu-ray and then digital copy instead of it being Blu-ray DVD digital. And
You
so
should have gone to a certain entertainment store in the Moreno Valley Mall.
why?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe next time. I'm I think I'm definitely starting to come back around. It definitely helps that I have a certain connection there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think I'll definitely start shopping there a lot more. Because again, if I can get stuff for decent enough prices, then why not?
And I'll let you know when they're at their cheapest too.
Oh yeah, totally. Thank you,
Yeah.
Luke. What a guy. What a pal.
Anyway, are we at that point?
I think we're at that
think we're
point,
there.
Is
folks.
it time to move on to our?
It is time to move on to the sports segment.
It's time to move to sports.
Welcome to the cage match. No, I don't. All right.
heck?
Yeah, well, I thought I was going with like a WWE wrestler there. Like, yeah.
So let's get to our. What do we call this segment? Not the sports segment, but the Antonio Brown segment.
Antonio Clown the Brown, man.
Should we just kick it off with that because everybody's expecting it anyway?
Freaking idiot, man. I do not like this guy. He has gone overnight, seemingly, to one of the best players to just the most hated in the NFL. And all for various reasons, man.
Yeah,
Just-
I don't think the last time we recorded this, there weren't even any rape allegations against him.
No,
so
there were no
if you're
sexual-
listening now, rape is on the table. There's an allegation that he
and I'm pretty sure 2 other forms of sexual assault. Like,
Yeah,
just I'm
so-
not going into graphic details, but it's bad, folks.
Yeah, so things are looking like an all-time low for Antonio Brown and anybody who's enjoyed watching Antonio Brown.
Yeah. It just, I just don't get it, man. Like he's just imploding from the inside out. And then, you know what's freaking hilarious to me? After all this crap that he's pulled with the teams, trying to fight the GM, trying to do this, that, and the other thing to complain to get his way because he's a freaking spoiled brat. Antonio Brown, we wanted you on this podcast, not anymore. You're sucking right now. He put out a tweet that says, I will not be playing in the NFL anymore. These owners can cancel deals, do whatever they want at any time. We'll see if the National Football League Players Association holds them accountable to see. It's sad that they can just void guarantees anytime going on. 40 months, 40 2 months. We'll see if they pay up. It's just like, dude, no. It was in your contract that you needed to behave yourself as a player and as someone who's an NFL athlete. You are held to a higher standard to not get yourself into trouble on and off the field, and you've done nothing but that since day one of this season. And we before we even started this stupid season, you're an idiot.
Who does he think he's fooling right now?
Oh my gosh, dude.
It's like you're fired and like, no, I quit. Like that's what he's doing right now. Where
Basically.
he's like, he's not going to play in the NFL, and then he's like, well, let me try to trick some people into thinking that it's my choice. It's not your choice, dude.
No.
You can't land yourself a job.
Oh my gosh, dude. It's so just I can't even put into
He could be
words.
the mascot.
I'm already
He can't.
Yeah, no.
I wouldn't even hire him as a janitor.
No, yeah, he's trying. Yeah, exactly.
A
Like,
rapey janitor?
You
No,
hit the
no
nail on
one
the
wants
head, Luke,
that.
because she's trying to play it like, oh, I'm gonna leave the NFL. Like I don't need them. It's like, no, dude, you suck, and the NFL's getting rid of you. We're getting rid of
Face it, man, you're retired.
We're getting rid of a virus because you suck. Like that's why you're leaving the NFL, not the other way around. Ugh.
What do you think, John?
Well, I don't know the guy personally.
He's like, yes.
Me neither.
Gosh, man. Well, again, he's showing his true colors because again, it's like on top of like all the other crap going on. With all that being said, with the allegations going back and forth, the NFL interviewed some of the accusers, and then I think they're going to interview Antonio Brown himself. Like he started sending messages to the person who's accusing him, just like, oh, you better check yourself more so than you're checking me right now, like things to that effect or whatever. And like essentially, and like immediately when it happened, the lawyer of the accusing party did the right thing, and she's just like, you know what, screenshot, we're sending that to the NFL.
Yeah.
Like you just shot yourself in the foot. And if it's just like, what were you thinking in that moment too? Because it's like on one hand, again, if we were talking about it a little bit earlier, John, I apologize, Luke, when it was messaging between me, you, and John in their fantasy league chat, and you were talking about
John.
Yes, another John. Who we'll see what happens with him in the next few weeks. But anyway, you were talking about how again in this country you are innocent until proven guilty, which by all means I will acknowledge and say yes, that's the way the law should work and it needs to work. But it's like if we want to give Antonio Brown any bit of grace, it's like. Again, he has these accusations come against him. If he knows they are false, why are you going out of your way to send threatening, demeaning messages to your accuser as opposed to like even if you were in the right and like not even that you are in the right in this situation, if you are innocent, why would you go out of your way to then start threatening her to say like you better back off this case, and even if you weren't, it's like just stay silent and shut up because you're just making this whole situation worse for yourself.
In all fairness,
Makes you look more guilty.
Yeah, well, in all fairness, I don't know why he does anything. To try to associate a rational reason for all this with an irrational human being, you're not going to get anywhere. So
no.
Saying it's irrational, therefore he must be guilty. I'm not quite willing to go there. I think you're probably right. I'm just not willing to put a label on it yet. But yeah, to try to assume any sort of logical or rational reason from him, it's just not going to work.
Yeah, and gosh, man, it's crazy to think that this guy went from, like I said, I keep going back to it, so beloved, such a great athlete, to just what the freak happened, man. It was, I don't even know if you can call this a 180. It's like he went a 180 and then shot down straight to hell. Like, I mean, that's basically what's happened. He's just become this monster of a person. It's just like, what the heck, man?
Yeah, I don't know. Like you said, last season, we were all like Antonio Brown fans.
Yeah.
And then he started having some troubles in the locker room, and it was like, okay, just put up with it. And then he left the team. It's like,
he was
fine.
raping in the locker room?
No, John, no. That's not what we're saying at all.
That's the quarterback.
That's Ben Roethlisberger.
Dang.
Savage.
Oh, man, I couldn't help it there. But yeah, no, he just wasn't getting along with anybody. It was like, okay, I guess
that's okay. Just agree to disagree. It's like, okay, they're having a debate or just a dissension amongst themselves. That's still just like players being players. Like, that's acceptable enough.
Yeah, and then it goes back. Then the helmet issue is what kind of kicked it off.
That was so dumb.
And then
that was
fighting
just
with
even
the
that
GM.
even that was just random stupid.
And then fighting with the GM, then all this nonsense getting traded to the Patriots, and now this. It's just out of control.
Yeah, Antonio Brown, I really do hope you just get better. Maybe what'll happen is he's got to take some time away from the NFL. He's really got to fix whatever's going on with him. If it is, I'm not saying it is, but if he does have some kind of medical condition, like a mental illness or something that's going on, because I know with concussion protocols, CTE, and stuff that goes on in the NFL. He's taken hits. I mean, again, we know that the one infamous hit from Vontaze Burfict from the Bengals, that one Sunday night game or whatever the heck it was, like that friggin' rocked his world, man. And so, like whatever it is, if it is because of that or something else is happening, like somebody please check in on Antonio Brown to make sure he's just okay.
Yeah,
like,
definitely be praying for Antonio Brown's mental health.
I think he could still be a professional football player.
Yeah,
you know why?
What?
He could claim he identifies as a woman and play in the lingerie football league.
Oh my goodness!
And there we go. Just problem solved. He has his new contract.
And that's why we have John for this sports section. His unique perspective.
Yeah, because I never would have made that connection. But
you have a beautiful mind.
Just saying. Thank you.
Yeah. Maybe in that league he could even play quarterback. And speaking of quarterbacks, what the heck is going on with the NFL, dude? Like, every quarterback for every team is, like, facing some kind of injury right now. Like, okay.
Those are quarterbacks. I thought those were, like, scarecrows on the field. That's, like, limbs falling off.
Yeah, pretty much. They might as well, man. That's not that a more acceptable injury, but my goodness. So you have some of the notables. You got Drew Brees, sadly, last week against in the Rams-Saints game, he injured his hand and he's out for, I believe, at least 6 weeks from what they're speculating.
Ouch.
Sorry, Saints. You know, one other thing with the Rams-Saints game, yet again, the Saints got screwed in that thing. Granted, the score ended, it looked bad on paper because you see like a 9-27, win or whatever in the Rams' favor. However, at the point when the Saints actually had the lead, there was a fumble recovery by the defense that ran back for a touchdown, and the freaking refs blew the play dead. They stopped the play when they should have let it go on. They are trained to officiate that way and say like, hey, if it's a scoring play, we can go back and review it and we'll determine whether or not the turnover was actually legal, if it was okay, if there's a clear. I mean, obviously he clearly recovered the fumble. But no, they screw him yet again and just say, oh, nope, dead there. And it's just like, what the heck? That's 6 points you just took away from the Saints in a game where they had control of it. Like, that's so demoralizing and just deflating as a team when you have a lead. You need to get that win against the Rams after what happened last season, and the refs screw you again. And then again, just literally injury to insult with the Breeze thing. Like, So that was just a
sucked the wind from their sails.
Yeah, it really did.
Sucked it.
Their sainty sales. But yeah, so getting back to the quarterback thing, I know I kind of went on a tangent there, but I'm frustrated with crap like that, man. So then we talked about Ben Roethlisberger, not in a good light, but I mean he's injured too. He's out for the whole season.
Yeah, Tommy John surgery, right?
Tommy John's?
Yeah, Tommy John surgery.
Is that what it's actually? Okay,
on his elbow. Yeah.
Okay,
It's
I thought it was his shoulder.
No, it's his elbow.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very common thing for baseball players, especially pitchers. Mm-hmm. It's a surgery on the tendon in the elbow, so they're going to have to cut it open and repair it. So it's going to be a while, but that's the kind of surgery where they say you could come back just as strong as you were before. So maybe we'll see him next season.
Is it the same surgery?
I don't
where
know.
They take
like,
it from your other arm and put it in that one, or is that something entirely different?
I don't know.
Here's my only fear and worry, right? Is that like with Ben Roethlisberger, he's been in the league quite a while. And for him to get like an injury like this, you know, and granted the medical, you know, doctors and whatever else are saying that he could come back from it, you know, might not be too career ending, but at the same time, he's kind of already on his way out. And so him getting this injury so late in his career could start to be the downfall of Ben Roethlisberger.
He's got money to live a good life. Who cares?
Well, of course he does. Any NFL player
Yeah, but
does.
he's not going to live to be 42 as a football player.
Mm-hmm. He's not Tom Brady. But yeah, so then we already mentioned Foles earlier. The first game of the season, he's got a shoulder injury. Sam Darnold for the Jets went out with mono. Like, I mean, what the heck, man? That came out of nowhere. And then I believe Trevor Siemian, the backup for the Jets, he went out with an ankle injury. So it's just like they're just everywhere, just dropping left and right. Like I said, just they're dropping like flies. And I don't know what the heck it is. Just people like I'm worried for any starting quarterback. It just seems like there's a virus going around, and all the quarterbacks are catching it this season as far as injuries go.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Quarterbacks are any athlete really. It seems to me that they're just not built the way they used to be.
Nope, and especially the kickers. I mean, not that they get injured, they just
sound like you're 80.
Yeah,
they don't make them like they used to.
They don't make them like they used to. Yeah, I don't
know.
Back
in my day, we wore leather helmets.
We didn't need no concussion protocol. What'd you call me? What?
You had a good career, and then you were retarded from 40 on.
Dang.
Wrecked. They're kind of fragile now, so I don't know. Maybe it's just because there's bigger men running at even bigger men. It's just like a lot more force on the field. I don't know.
Just a lot of big men.
And that's why they got new helmets. But even that wasn't good enough for Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Nothing ever is, apparently. But yeah, so let's try to lighten the mood up, because I know we haven't really done this since we started our podcast. I know I kind of wanted to. But let's get into some predictions, Luke, for this next week. And John, I know you're not the biggest football fan, but you can throw in your odd sense of humor every now and again. Yeah, so I just want to highlight. We're not going to go through all 16 matchups for next week or anything, but we'll get some key games that could be fun, whether they're divisional rivals or just important teams playing. So let's see. Sunday night's game tonight. We have Rams versus Browns. I don't even get why they're hyping this up as a game. I mean, is it fair to say, Luke, that the Rams are going to walk away with the W on this one?
I would think so. At the same time, I don't want to root against the Rams. I do kind of like the Rams. Mm-hmm. But, boy, wouldn't it be fun to see a fun game tonight with the Browns really fighting back?
I would like to see a fun game, but I just don't see it happening. I mean, you look at the one win that the Browns have. It was against the Jets, who we just mentioned. Two of their first string and second string quarterbacks went out with injuries before the game one before the game started with the mono, and then two, guy got his ankle injured, so he had to leave the game. So they're on their third string quarterback, and they were missing several starters, and the Browns were able to pull out a win. Like, kudos, you did what you were supposed to do against a bad injured team. But I don't see even the Rams. Granted, they haven't played their best football, and I'm willing to acknowledge that fact. But I don't see them leaving Cleveland with an L on this. It's just too easy for them. It's too easy of a win.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I do know. It's going to be the Rams. The Rams are going to win, but. I hope it's a good game.
Yeah, I do want to see a good matchup. I hate watching just either, shutout game. Oh, well, if it gets super ridiculously high scoring, okay, maybe a shutout's kind of fun. But yeah, just seeing a one lopsided victory or just not even any kind of excitement back and forth where it's like, oh, it might be close. It could go either way. It gets boring after a while.
Yeah.
All right. So it's now starting. So that's Sunday night's game. Now let's get into week 4. We have the Eagles versus the Packers. And I believe they're at Green Bay.
Packers.
Okay. Here's my only thing. I know everyone's talking right now that the Green Bay Packers have a good defense, and they have a pretty decent one right now. But they were able to beat Mitch Trubisky, who just had a crappy game week 1.
Yeah.
It was a terrible, terrible offense that they were playing, and they looked great. And then they played, I believe, the Vikings the second week, and they were able to get a win there, which I'd say that's a more notable win. But at the same time, they were going back and forth today when I was watching highlights and scoring going back and forth. It was the Broncos that almost gave the Packers an L. And they were at Denver, or no, I think they were at Lambeau as well. But even still, it's like, how are you going to, take out the Vikings and then have to struggle so hard against the Broncos of all teams?
Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of what makes a team good is their ability to win no matter the circumstance. And that includes even if you're having an off day.
Right.
So in a case like this, the fact is they still won. They still didn't give up the win. And I think that's the most important thing. So I think I would still give them the edge. I wouldn't look at this as such a bad thing. You don't have to demolish every team, even if they are a bad team.
Right.
You just need to make sure you're getting the wins that you should be winning.
Yeah.
And I think that they're definitely going to beat. I'm blanking.
The Eagles.
The Eagles, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think again, I'm not going to root against Aaron Rodgers really all that much when it comes to this podcast. I do, although granted, I do believe at the beginning of the season we did say that the Green Bay Packers probably at the bottom of the division, or well, on top of the Lions, mind you. But yeah. So with this defense in effect now, we'll see what happens there. And the Eagles, they're no team to sleep on. They barely lost to the Lions today, so they are 1-2 going into a 3-0 team. But I think this one, like you're just talking about with the Browns and Rams, I think this one will be a more close, like shootout, kind of exciting back and forth game.
I hope so. That should be fun.
Yeah, that one I definitely look forward to. And then I figured we'd cover our team, the Chargers versus the Dolphins.
Dolphins all the way.
Oh, we should definitely win this. Have the Dolphins scored a touchdown yet?
No, I don't think they have.
Good for that guy who made that.
Remember what I was saying about winning the games that you should win? Mm-hmm. This is a game we should win.
Which scares me because
it's
the Chargers.
I don't necessarily care if it's close, but we should win.
I hope so, man, because I know there have been times in years previous where, I mean, even just facing the Dolphins is one thing, but a couple seasons back we were playing the New Orleans Saints, and they were 0-4 to start the season, and we were, I believe, either 3-1 or might have even been 4-0 at whatever year it was. And sure enough, we go into the the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in New Orleans, and we walk away with an L because the Chargers, games that they should win, they choke. And I don't know what it is. Every time we face a team that is defeated, we end up giving them their first win. We did the same thing a couple seasons back with the Browns when they could have had actually two back-to-back seasons of 0-16, and it was us and the Rams that gave them wins. It's like, what the frick, man? Like, I don't know why the Chargers just they are the way that they are.
But hey, both we and the Rams are in very different places than we were before.
Right, but I mean, we should be 3-0 right now, and we choked against the Lions because of all the bad penalties.
I think the Dolphins might be even worse than those Browns teams.
I don't know, man. We'll see. But again, it's all up to the Chargers. Whatever, if they want to actually show up and play football, we should have a win. Yeah. But so that's that game.
Speaking of the Chargers, what's the score right now? This is happening during the Charger game.
Yeah, so we were recording. It's at the half right now, and the Chargers are up 17-7.
That's against the Texans.
Yeah,
we should have this win next week.
We better. If we beat the Texans, we better freaking beat the Dolphins, man. That's all I'm saying. Because the Texans, even despite their lack of an offensive line, because Deshaun Watson has been like the most sacked quarterback over the last few seasons.
Yeah.
Like even despite that. They still have a good defense, and they still get high scoring games. So he's he's a great player. And, hopefully Deshaun, not this season because we're playing you right now, but hopefully next season you guys can get an O line and you guys would actually be a contender for your division title kind of thing.
Yeah.
So let's see. Moving on to the next game, still week 4. I'll end with a better one. So we'll start with Bengals versus Steelers. Both teams are not doing too hot right now. But it's still, I figured it was still a good divisional matchup, and I think the Bengals even came back. I'll check the score on that. I want to say they came back from a 14-0 deficit to possibly even win their game today. But yeah, so with that being said, Luke, what do you think between the Steelers and the Bengals next week in their division? I know they have to fight through the Browns and the Baltimore Ravens, even though they lost today to the Chiefs, they're going to be the team to beat in that division.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Bengals.
You think?
I don't think the Steelers are anything like they were with
Ben
Roethlisberger.
I stand corrected. The Bengals did lose today, but they fought back. I mean, like I said, it was 14-0, but I believe both teams, Steelers...
Against who?
The Steelers and 49ers are going on right now. They played the Bills.
The Bills.
I think the Bills I know it's a little crazy to say. I think they could possibly take a wild card spot, but I know it's a little too early in the season.
I could believe it.
Yeah. So that being said, so you'd have, I think both teams next week with the Bengals and Steelers, because the Steelers are playing the 49ers, who have been on a roll. I think both teams will go into next week's game 0-3. Like I don't see the 49ers losing to the Steelers this week.
I don't know. It's probably going to be a really boring game, but I think I've got to give the edge to the Bengals.
Okay.
I think they've just got more ability to fight than the Steelers do.
All right, I can see that too. Just because again, with all the injuries and the loss of players and everything, I definitely think that overall they're more well-rounded as a team. All right, and so the last prediction, our game I want to get into is, oh my gosh, I'm so gassy right now. It's like I keep burping for some reason. But all right, we have the Vikings versus the Bears, another great divisional rivalry.
Vikings.
Yes, I'm definitely with you on the Vikings because I don't see the way the numbers they put up today against the Raiders. I think they had them like 28-13 or something. They destroyed them. I don't see the as good as the Bears defense is, I don't see them beating them on offense because Mitch Trubisky's going to suck it up again.
Yeah, defense wins championships as long as there's an offense of some kind on the other side.
Yeah, because defense is going to need a rest. They can't be on the field all 60 minutes of the game to try to win it for one team.
Yeah, and John was talking about this earlier. He has a lot to say about the Bears.
Yeah,
the Bears.
So here's my theory about that game. Have you guys ever seen the movie Brave?
Oh
Was
my
that the one
gosh.
with
The little archer girl?
The redheaded.
the
Yeah.
redhead.
So the whole premise is the Vikings versus the Bears. The problem I see with this game is the Bears put up a really good fight in that movie against the Vikings.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And you're laughing, but I'm serious.
No, I'm taking you serious right now.
Is it really about bears?
Well, yeah.
There was one bear was like the villain of
The
the
mom
movie.
turns into the bear. The little brothers turn into bear cubs.
No, you're thinking of Brother Bear.
No,
Nope,
this happens
Brave.
in Brave.
No, this is Brother Bear. guys.
Promising, dude. I watched it yesterday.
Yeah, and the other one turns into an eagle.
Luke, you are 0 for 2 on things you swear are true.
You're correct on that's what happened in Brother Bear, but in Brave, this happened.
and
Yeah,
the
and
Aurora
I'm vouching for
Borealis
you.
and like salmon
gosh.
fishing with their paws.
Anyway, John, what were you saying?
This Brave is
yeah,
like,
let's get back to John's.
At least
This is
here's
too
my thing.
silly. Let's get back to John.
he's just not
So-
speaking nonsense like you are, Luke.
the
Gosh.
Vikings have a good shot, but if there's enough Bears and not enough Vikings,
Do you feel confident?
take it
still?
out.
I do feel confident.
That's
Oh
all
my
I got to say
gosh.
about that. It's kind of a toss up. Vikings got weapons, Bears got claws.
Yeah.
I think I want to start making this a thing where if we start going into week predictions, like he just looks at the two team names and gets some funny scenario with like either like the animals or whatever else.
It's gonna like get worse every. I like this color.
But no. I think
see,
John
their
can do us better
colors
than
are
just what the
orange,
color is. Like,
and
yeah, this
I'm
is,
I'm more clever than that. You got to give me more
yeah,
credit.
and I give you credit for that. He's just the one being a negative Nancy over here.
That's
Even-
because you were negative about what I was saying about Brother Bear.
I wasn't negative
because you
about it.
were
I'm just saying
incorrect.
it's
No,
I'm
you
just
weren't
saying,
incorrect.
I'm
but-
pointing out similarities between those two movies.
right, but they're different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the,
The Brother Bear is bears fighting Alaskan natives.
Yes.
Brave is Vikings fighting the bears or the
Duh,
Danes.
Bears. Not Mike Ditka though.
Fine.
Fun
All right.
fact: they weren't actually known as Vikings. That was come up with much later, and they didn't actually wear helmets with horns.
Speaking
Really?
of,
The other countries just depicted them that way to make them seem like the devil.
but
Wow.
do you know?
They
Fun
were known
fact.
as the Danes.
Fun fact: Vikings actually made their way to America, and that's why Minnesota is actually named after the Vikings. Because there are
it really?
there are historical artifacts that have been found that were Viking related. That is why
Wait
the
a
team is
minute. Were
actually
they
named
helmets with horns on them?
that. No, I believe it was like stones and like other kind of artifacts along that line. No helmets.
Everything you guys are saying is lining up.
I am enlightening the listeners
like
because
history.
you got to learn something new every day, and so maybe I just enlighten somebody. So. Or-
So historically, though, bears did outlive Vikings.
I'd like to think so.
Here.
So
Well,
bears
I
might
mean,
take
yeah.
it.
I don't know.
Well,
it depends.
well,
If the
let's see,
game
though,
is
because-
like several thousand years long, you might have a point.
That's true.
But however,
Some games seem like they are.
Yeah.
aren't some bears close to extinction? That's the thing, though.
Some,
They're
yeah.
starting to find their end. I'm pretty sure you could still find
like
some DNA.
polar
Some
bears.
You could find some
all
DNA.
Vikings.
You can
No
find some
one cares
DNA
about the polar
ancestry.
bears.
Dang.
Well, okay, people care about the polar bears. They drink Coke. It's pretty entertaining.
They're
Yeah,
the largest
gosh.
bears on Earth.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That is right.
Ah.
Learn something every day. I
Interesting.
just joined the fun.
Hey,
Um,
me and Luke got the clap
very loud high five.
We're
in
gonna
my
have
headphones.
a nature segment.
with Steve or whatnot.
I'll be Steve. I'll be John Irwin.
Crocky.
Crikey.
Yeah, so, we'll go ahead and move on. I think we've talked enough football. We've probably bored half the listeners to death if they're even still tuned in at this point. But going to baseball, Luke, you talked about it last week with one of the baseball players going out with injury for the season because he hit the ball right into his kneecap.
Christian Yelich smacked the ball right into his kneecap.
Yep.
And I was like, man, this is the toughest injury we've had to deal with all year.
And then
Mike Trout. Literally, the hour after we recorded this episode, it was announced that he's going to have surgery on his foot, so he's done for the rest of the season as well. He ended with 45 home runs.
Yeah.
It's almost like an ode to Tyler Skaggs, number 45.
Yeah, it's
heartwarming.
It's a heart-melting beauty that
blessing curse thing
that just kills us. Now we have no chance of making it to the World Series.
Oh my gosh! It's all because of Mike Trout.
Yeah, I know. But
So
anyway,
terrible.
Mike Trout had a fantastic season. He should still be the MVP.
Yeah, hopefully.
The only person that's close is maybe Alex Bregman, but I still would. I think everybody's going to give it to Mike Trout just because it was fantastic. It's the best season he's ever had. So
Yeah.
You know what we need? We need more players with fish names because we've had Mike Trout, Tim Salmon.
And the fishes are good. They swim upstream.
We need to get like a Charlie Catfish.
Yeah, Charlie Cat. That's a great name. I want that.
yeah, so Mike Trout is done with 45 homers. Let's get back to the home run battle, though.
Okay.
We were talking about who's going to be the first to 50.
Okay.
The rookie, Pete Alonso with the Mets, is the
boy.
first to 50 home runs.
Dang.
Quite a season for him. We'll have to see now. Aaron Judge hit 53 home runs in his rookie season.
That's not Mike Judge's cousin from like the guy who actually created King of the Hill. It's someone else.
Correct. Yeah, it's not the King of the Hill guy. This guy is significantly taller.
Damn it.
So yeah, Aaron Judge hit 53 home runs.
Holy
now we're
crap.
gonna see. Yeah, his rookie season. Now we're gonna see if Pete Alonso is gonna be able to match that or beat it with the remaining week that we have left in the regular
How many
season.
games is that total?
They'll probably have like 6 games, six games.
And where is he at now? Is he at 50?
He's at 50 right now.
And he's got to get 4 home runs.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm rooting for it.
It's going to be
I'm rooting
a
for you,
busy
man.
week
Do
for
it.
him.
Yeah.
He might be able to do it. I don't know. But, yeah, that makes it an awkward conversation now. Who's going to be the MVP of the National League? They are stacked over there. It's tough because I kind of think Cody Bellinger, but I don't know. There's a lot of guys that are close. Suarez is doing really good. Rendon? I don't remember how to pronounce his name.
Close enough.
But it is a good thing going on there. And to speak of another milestone, Acuna Jr., we talked about him with his home runs and stolen bases. He reached that 40 homer, 30 stolen base point. Mm-hmm. And that's quite a thing to do.
Way to
still
go,
a good
Hakuna
feat.
Matata.
Congratulations to him. We'll see what his final numbers are at the end of this week. But that's quite an accomplishment for him. He has a very bright future ahead of him. He's almost Mike Troutish in his first few seasons in the MLB.
Right, showing some good signs.
Yeah, so it's going to be awesome to see what he does as he passes that 25 mark in the next few seasons.
Yep. Wish him all the best.
Yeah.
Good luck, man.
Acuna.
So there's your baseball update. I don't think I have anything else.
Yeah, I don't know about any other sports that have been going on. I mean, I know we're getting into hockey season. Basketball's right around the corner, so we'll have more updates and more reviews and stuff for those once that actually starts coming around. But
Are you guys into basketball?
I am.
Not really.
For me,
Yeah, that's
here's
the sport I could care the least about.
really.
Yeah. It's so boring.
See, my thing is just
I like
like
golf better.
when it comes to basketball, like I'll be honest, to those
serious.
of you listening, when it comes to sports and basketball, I will probably watch the games of my team. So that's basically the Lakers. That's who I root for.
Yeah.
And I'll give updates on that and injuries, whatnot. There are just so many basketball games in any given regular season. Same as baseball. I mean, there's hundreds that are played throughout the course of the season. So I'm just like, there's no way I'm going to be able to watch and keep up.
you just
Like,
have to do it on a weekly
I'll
basis
get-
like everything else.
Yeah, I'll give highlights of different injuries or like maybe someone had a really good game, put up like 40 points and something crazy ridiculous. I'll cover stuff like that. But yeah, as far as like in-depth team review, like probably just the Lakers.
You know what I'm excited for, though?
Me?
March Madness starts next month.
Did I tell you? Was it on air that we were talking about this? Last week on Friday, it was Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
I said it's coming up within the next couple of years. Halloween is going to end up on Friday the 13th, and that's going to be awesome.
How?
You're a smart one.
You have no idea how many people have fallen for that this last couple of weeks.
What, just been like, oh yeah?
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, I think it's next year actually. I'm like,
Idiots.
I just stare at them and they're like, oh no.
Like, oh my gosh.
Halloween is on the 31st, people.
Gosh, yeah. You swap
doesn't go
the
by day of the
numbers
week.
around. Anyway, I think on that funny note, Luke, I think it's time for us to bid farewell to our neighbors.
Yeah, let's say goodbye. The air conditioning is not working so well in here, so we're gonna get out of this hot room and let you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Thanks for listening.
Thank
See
you so
next
much.
time.
Subscribe and like, review. Love you.
Good day.